This video is designed to be interactive. That means that you will watch and at different points pause the video in order to practice new skills. After each pause, we'll continue with new content. The time points of these pauses are listed for you in the video description in case you have to start this video over at any point. All practice activities will be done within a worksheet that you'll need to download from the online course. We also recommend pausing the video if you need more time to engage with any of the text content shown. To reach our learning goals, we'll unpack these topics and questions. First, we'll talk about models of person-centered practices and the theory behind them. Then we'll talk about the transition discovery sub-indicators of person and family-directed planning. And lastly, we'll go over some tools that you can use to support person and family-directed planning. Ideally, authentic person and family-centered planning practices include keeping the focus on youth and their families, not the school or the system. This means helping youth and their family to identify their closest family, friends, and supports to be part of that planning process. This also includes meeting youth and families where they are in life and focusing on their strengths, dreams, goals, and needs. In order to do so, we need to take an individualized, whole life plan based upon the dreams and goals of young people and their families now and in the future. At the core of person-centered planning is this idea of person-centered thinking. This is a way of infusing all transition practices and activities with the voice, expectations, goals, dreams, challenges, and strengths of young people. Person-centered thinking should guide the planning process, the community chosen for interaction, and the tools used to support planning. Take a few moments to read these core principles of person-centeredness. A critical assumption of person-centered practices is the pivotal nature of the community. It is through connectedness in the community that people define and realize themselves, and through which important things actually get done. We live in an era where specialization of roles and functions dominates the service industry. In light of this, it is critical to build communities with people, not systems, as the core focus. Person-centered planning processes attempt to identify and highlight the unique talents, gifts, and capabilities inherent in everyone. It is through person-centered thinking that we can explore and discover where in the real world these gifts can be shared, appreciated, and reciprocated, and where the person's contributions and social roles will be valued. Person-centered thinking leads to person-centered practices, which in turn lead to person-centered organizations that can create person-centered systems of support and it's through support by these person-centered systems that individuals become empowered to take charge of their lives. Here we have the 5 commitments of building community in person-centered thinking. Take some time to read these 5 commitments and then think about the specific roles and people in your community who might fall under one or more of these 5 commitments that build community. Person-centered planning requires that youth and families brainstorm and get connected with resources and supports in their community. There are many ways to make a plan. we'd like to take some time together now to teach you one way to help youth and families to make a roadmap for their future. This is one approach to person-centered planning that you can teach stakeholders to use with youth and families. The following part of this video will be guided instruction. After the tutorial, create your own mind map based upon one area of transition. This should be a tool that youth and families could use. For example, you might identify resources that support school, employment, friendships, or independent living. Once you have created your map, post a link to your map within the Coffee Talk as proof of completion of this course. Please download and open the Roadmap to Your Future worksheet before continuing on with this tutorial. Making a roadmap for their future is a way for youth and families to learn about what their community can offer to young people and families who are planning for a successful life after high school. We will use the Roadmap to Your Future handout and Google's My Map online in order to create one. This process begins with brainstorming and ends with an online tool for organizing and accessing resources to support transition goals. There are 2 steps of the roadmap process. First, youth and families complete a roadmap activity sheet. This tool helps them to begin brainstorming about setting goals and planning for their transition. In this activity, they'll also start to brainstorm different resources, supports, opportunities, and activities that can help them reach those goals. Once this worksheet is completed, youth and families and stakeholders engage in collaborative discussions about those completed documents. Next, stakeholders work with youth and families to create a custom mind map with information related to resources, activities, and opportunities that support their person-centered planning goals on the mind map worksheet. The first part of the planning worksheet is called the Road to a Good Life. What you want to do is have youth open the handout to the page that says Step 1, Young Person version, and family members open it to Step 1, Family version. They'll each complete their own version of the handout. This activity has 2 parts. First, youth and their family think about what a good life means to them and write down some ideas of what that looks like. And then, youth and their family have time to set goals for the future, including work, school, where they'll live, living healthy, and being safe and getting supports. So once this second page is completed, it's time to begin supporting youth and their families in creating their own mind map based upon this information. Let's take some time to walk through the steps of creating one together. This way you can teach others how to make one. To access My Maps, you'll first want to navigate to google.com/mymaps. On this first page, you'll see all the maps that you've created. The first thing we need to do is click on the red button that says Create a New Map. Google's My Map feature uses layers to organize the different resources that you want to put within the map. You can name each layer and then put resources underneath them. So here, I'll name my first layer School. Then I'm thinking, okay, what resources can I put that relate to school? How about I put the local community college in Allegheny County? So I would type that in the top search bar, and you'll notice that it comes up automatically like Google will do. And then it brings me right to that point on the map. So you'll notice it's not in a layer yet. In order to do that, we click Add to Map. And then you'll see it becomes a blue marker underneath the school layer. Let's just hit the undo button and recap how I did that. So first I went to the search bar and I typed in Community College of Allegheny County. It appeared on the map, and then I clicked Add to Map. And you'll notice that it comes up right underneath that layer, under School. So we have a bunch of different options to customize this resource on the map. We can change the color of the icon and the icon itself. If we click on More Icons, there's a giant directory of potential icons we can use. Here I'm typing in school and then clicking on one of the school icons. You also have the option to put in your own custom pictures and icons if you feel that you'd like to do so. In addition to changing the icon and the colors, there's the ability to write descriptions and add pictures. In order to add a picture, we'll click on the photo image icon. This will open up a upload box. We can then click a file from our computer. We can add one from the internet. In this case, I'm going to drag and drop one from my computer. And you'll see that the picture I added is of the main building at the community college. I then, like I said, have the option to put a description in. This is where we can get creative and add information that supports transition goals. For this example, I'd like to add information about disability support services at CCAC. So you see here that I'm writing a short description, and I think I'll include the direct link to their disability services website. Now, I could also add a little more information here by clicking on that pencil icon again. I might also include information about how to travel to this building, and maybe a point of contact or someone who can support me in getting there and being there. Alright, so let's set some directions between CCAC and another location that maybe my young person or family wants to access and travel from. We see here that it'll default to driving, so if a young person prefers to take another mode of transportation, we can hit walking or bike. And you see here that I've selected one of the local bus stops that's close to campus and added that as part of the directions. Now we have point A being that bus stop and point B being Allegheny campus. We can then change that layer name. In this case, I'm putting walking from the bus to campus. So maybe I want to add a new layer. This time, I think that I'll call this layer Friends and Fun. If I'm working with a young person and their family to create this map, we would then have a conversation about the second page of their roadmap to their future worksheet and look at some of those dreams and goals in order to identify things that would help them in the community that would support making friends and having fun. So the first thing I'm selecting is the Visual Arts Center. Perhaps the young person and their family on their roadmap sheet had identified being interested in getting out and getting into the creative arts in the community. Maybe I can also add a coffee and tea house that the young person and their friend would like to hang out at. I might also put the Allegheny YMCA. And now all of these resources that are being put on into this layer for friends and fun would have to represent those dreams and goals on the worksheet. So what we're doing is looking at that worksheet about what the young person and their family have brainstormed, and then finding opportunities and resources in the community that can help them to access and achieve those goals. All right, it's time for you to create your mind map. Remember, once you've completed your mind map, post a link to it within the Coffee Talk as proof of completion of this course.